Yo, what's happening, boys and girls? How the devil are we? Shanksy here, and welcome to my brand new series on everything you need to know about insert said name team. Today we're going to be kicking off with the OGs, the Defenders. So where they've come from, where they are now, and what we could do to improve them in this game at this current point. Stick around. Let's have a look down memory lane. Defenders, this is your life. So what's going on, boys and girls? How the devil are we? Shanksy here, and today we're going to start this video series that I've been talking about, I've been threatening, I've been promising for God knows how long. We are going to take a look at the teams, everything you need to know about them, from what to skill up, where to put your tier 4s, what type of level I'd recommend, where they sit in the game currently, and where they have sat previously. So when I was thinking about this one, there was no team better to start with than the Defenders. That is right. Of course, we have got to start with the first Synergy team that really came into the game. The ones that really started working together in a big way. Now, the Defenders, of course, are Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Punisher, Iron Fist, and they can be used with either Miss Marvel or most predominantly is going to be Punisher, where they become the Pun Fenders. Now, let's have a little look at their kits and talk a little bit about where they sat in the game previously. So, starting it off, and literally just starting it off with what I've got on my roster, we're going to have a little look at Jessica Jones first. Now, as you can see, most of my guys are level 70, with Iron Fist being 71. Now, if I was starting the game off at this point in time, I probably wouldn't recommend taking them that high, but nor would I recommend what a lot of people are saying is like, don't touch them anymore, there's not a place for them in the game. I still don't think that is true. Now, the Defenders have a great synergy. They were the first team to actually really complement each other's kits in such a big way that made them the Apex Arena team, the Apex Raid team for so long. And they've obviously got block party events and different events that come out as well, or the gold event, which is your challenge that comes around that needs city heroes. These guys are still a very, very good staple for being able to get to maybe at least like level 6, I think it is, 7. I can't remember what the challenges go up to now. Let's have a little look, actually. Let's have a little look so I'm not talking absolute rubbish. So yeah, these will actually go up to tier 10 very, very easily. With a good Defenders team. Now, they do struggle on tier 11 and 12 in the gold challenge, but you also need them for block party event, and the block party event is where you're going to get so many tier 4s and help grow your roster. So are they a team that should be ignored? Definitely not. Jessica Jones is their Hero City Bio Controller and, of course, Defender. Now, let's have a little look at her skill set, and we're not going to go through the whole thing, but basically her primary ability is attack the target, decent amount of damage, good chance at a bonus attack for 1 to 2 times for a little bit less damage, but this is where her kit gets really, really spicy, is generate 1 ability energy for self or random defender ally. Each attack has a 50% chance to generate 1 ability energy for self or a random ally. So this is going to start basically feeding up the rest of the Defender team and keeping them skills moving. It's probably one of the most important tier 4s on the whole of the Defenders. Not the most, but one of the most. Shake It Off is absolutely phenomenal as well. This is clear all negative effects from self, clear 3 negative effects from allies. Now, if you wanted to tier 4 this, and I would only recommend tier 4 in this if you're going fairly hard, or depending on what teams you're looking to use to counter them, but clear all negative effects from all allies. It also generates 1 ability energy for each Defender ally. Generate 4 ability energy for random allies. So it's basically, she is going to be the one that keeps the whole team using their abilities, not waiting for them full cooldowns. It's super amazing. Rejection is absolutely awesome as well. It's attack primary target for 400% damage, and it clears all their positive effects. So this is really good to get through any of them tanks because it gains a redonkulous amount of focus when doing so. And of course, Denial is a passive. And again, this isn't really something I would really work towards, but gain 30% resistance, Defender allies gain 30% resistance, and additional city allies gain 20% resistance, other additional allies gain 15% resistance. So it's going to make the whole squad a little bit more resistant. Not a huge deal. Where does she fit in the game? She's still very, very good, even for broken squads, with the ability to generate energy and to clear off them negative effects, as well as literally wiping through a tank of clearing that taunt. Really, really, really solid character, even to this day. Is she the biggest hitter in the game? No, she's not. But she's definitely not got a kit that can be overlooked. So from Jessica Jones, we move on to Daredevil. Daredevil, strike without fear, is basically attack primary target for a ton of damage, and then a 50% chance to bonus attack for a smaller amount of damage. And if the target is a villain, and this is one of his key things, if the target is a villain, always bonus attack. This is actually going to lead us in to what they're actually very, very good at. The defenders are still very, very, very good at taking down villain teams, or at least if a team is predominantly made of villains, this is a really good attack. Predominantly, in my opinion, used on war, whether either you're punching down against against marauders or other villain teams. These guys are actually very good at clearing up, and a lot of that comes from Daredevil. His throw baton is attack primary target. It chains about. It doesn't actually hit that hard at all. But the big thing about this special ability is it applies counters to self and, again, all defender allies. Brawl is his ultimate ability, and that's going to attack the primary target for 370% damage. It's going to chain across the whole team, but counter attack does break it. It's a decent damage. It's a decent opener, and it's not bad to whittle them down a little bit. Then Enhanced Senses is, to be honest, probably a fairly important tier 4 in my opinion. Self and defender allies gain 10% speed. We know this is a turn-based game, right? Speed is king. This is applied after any character has taken action. Gain 5% dodge chance, gain 5% dodge chance per defender ally, and gain an extra 10% damage. So at level, the tier 4s, the 5% speed for self and defender allies is pretty key in my opinion. It's a very, very, very big tier 4. Right, moving on to the tank of the group, Mr. Luke Cage. As you can see on this particular guy, I've got 6664, and basically primary ability is a 30% chance to gain an assist now from a random hero ally. If that ally is a defender, they also gain a fence up, which is pretty nice. But it's not really a massive damage dealer. He's not going to be doing anything crazy. His special ability is gain taunt for 2 turns, plus regeneration for 2 turns. And he can clear off 2 negative effects. Now, if you wanted to tier 4 him, he will clear off all negative effects. But to be honest, I really feel like that would be a waste of tier 4s. Depending on what you're doing with them, I don't think that's an essential part of his kit at all. Unbreakable is his ultimate ability. Now, I really like this one. This is gain offense up for 2 turns, plus death proof. Apply defense up. Sorry, gain defense up for 2 turns. Apply defense up to all defender allies for 2 turns. Apply defense up to all additional allies. Generate 1 to 2 ability energy for random allies. And again, keep in mind the synergy of this kit. They're constantly giving each other energy, so they can constantly get out these big hits, big defenses, big taunts. They're actually still really solid. Then his passive ability is gain 5% max health per defender ally, gain 5% armor and 10% max health. Now at tier 4, if you wanted to take this all the way up, it would gain an additional 5% max health. But again, this wouldn't be per defender ally. This would just be an overall thing, and I really don't think that would be a waste. I really think that would be a massive waste of tier 4s. Now, Iron Fist is, in my opinion, the glue that really made this team work. This was what really, really worked out. This is what moved the whole game away from being like the best healer in the game is Night Nurse. The best healer in the game is Night Nurse. No. When Iron Fist got his game together, when he got his act together, holy moly, he made the defenders a team to be reckoned with. Attack primary target is his primary ability. Chains to 1 to 2. Counter attack breaks the chain. Nothing special there. Inner peace. Clear all negative effects from self. Heal self and all defender allies for 5,000 health plus 10% of this character's max health. Then heal the most injured city hero for an additional 5,000 health and 10% of this character's max health. This is absolutely huge. If you wanted to tier 4 this would be an extra 3,000 healing. A real nice bit of the kit to keep them defenders topped up while they're generating all this ability energy for them. It's pretty damn nice. Then we've got Iron Fist, the Iron Fist. Attack primary target for 600% damage. This is a big hit move, and it clears 3 positive effects from that enemy as well. 60% chance to gain offense down on the enemy, and this cannot be blocked, which is really, really nice as well. It cannot be blocked. If you wanted to tier 4 this, it would be an extra 100% damage, but you've got to keep in mind when it's an extra 100% damage and stuff like that, you've got to look at what you're doing at that point. So say, for example, 100% damage is actually more like an additional 18% damage. Because we're already doing 600% damage, right? So now we're going to do 700% damage. That's not that big a jump up, you know? So even though it reads as a really big number, it's not that big a jump up. And in my opinion, not really worth the tier 4s. But Son of Kung Lao, holy moly. This was the one, boys. This was the one, boys and girls. On spawn, heal self and defender allies for 30% of this character's max health. Made them beasts in raid. Additional city hero, heal additional city hero allies for 10% of this character's max health. On turn, 40% chance to heal self and defender allies for 30% of this character's max health. And heal additional city heroes for 20% of this character's max health. Plus gain 5% damage for each defender ally. This was a no-brainer to tier 4 as soon as you possibly could. And if you're working on this team, still a no-brainer to tier 4 without a shadow of a doubt. So, we've had a look at the core of the defenders, but who else really goes with them? Now, in my opinion, there are only 2 real viable candidates that you will see predominantly paired with the defenders. You will see some hybrids, you will see some offshoots, and there's some actually really good hybrid teams as well that make up core components of the defenders and other characters. But we're sticking predominantly with the main group. Now, this guy is going to be the one that you see 95% of the time, probably more like 99% of the time now. There was a stage that you'd see a lot more Miss Marvels, but now that the Brawlers are type of their own thing, and that will be a team that we get to another time, now it's all going to be about Punisher, right? So, as you can see, I've actually geared tier 14 mine. It was just the way that it went. It was just easy to do so. M4 Carbine is his special ability, his primary ability. Attack that primary target for 240% damage, plus 20% piercing, 30% chance to chain to additional targets, and counter-attack always breaks the chain. Not a bad single hit, does a decent amount of damage. He's a good old blaster, baby. Grenade launcher is basically shoot on in and you're going to hit the adjacent targets. It's not actually that big a damage and not that great a skill in all fairness. Not really part of his kit. Fully loaded. Holy moly. This is basically one of the great levelers. You open up with an Iron Fist, hit everyone. You then come up with fully loaded, attack all enemies for 200% damage, plus that 20% piercing. This can wipe teams. This is a real big ability, and it starts full, so you can start spamming that immediately. It's a beautiful skill. Lock and load. If at least one ally is a city hero, gain 20% chance to assist on non-attack abilities. So this is the beauty about this one as well. So anytime Jessica Jones is clearing, anytime Iron Fist is healing, anytime Luke Cage is taunting or giving everyone defense up, instead of, because they're not attacking, Punisher's got you covered, baby. He's going to come in there with that big old attack. And this is actually a really good tier 4 if you are looking at building up the defenders. And at least if one ally is a city hero, gain 20% chance to assist on a non-attack ability. Gain 20% chance to assist on non-attack ability per defender ally. Keep in mind, use the rest of them. You are guaranteed on every non-attack ability. If Daredevil is an ally, when an enemy attacks him, attack that enemy for 200% damage and 10% piercing. Gain 10% damage, gain 50% damage against villain targets. Absolutely huge. 50% damage against villains as a passive. City allies also gain 5% damage. City hero allies gain 10% damage instead. City hero allies gain an additional 30% damage against villain targets. Again, making them hit villains really, really hard. So he would definitely be my first choice on who to put with the defenders. The other one, and without a doubt, definitely deserves a mention, is going to be Captain Marvel. Miss Marvel is a little bit further down here. Now, Big Bash is obviously attack the primary target, gain deflect. Rejuvenate is so she can heal herself back up. Embiggen is where she can happy slap all the enemies attacking for 200% damage, plus 40% chance to generate one ability energy per target hit. Energy is granted to random hero allies. So this is even more about granting that energy up to the team. And then Fangirl, which is going to help out hero brawlers. Now, I've got to be honest, she was a very valid point, but she is now much more about her own team in the brawlers. So if you are building up the defenders, try to ignore Miss Marvel. She's got a nice kit, but try to ignore Miss Marvel. She's over there on her own team, and she handles that team real well, baby. So that is the defenders team. That is what they are. But where do they fit in the game now? Because let's be fair, once upon a time, that is all you used to see everywhere. Everyone was running them in Raid. Everyone was running them in the arena. Everyone was running them as their top blitz team. And that's why still today you see so many ginormous defenders teams. Because back then, that was the real team to go in on. But where do they fit into the game now? Well, let's have a little talk about that. So, in my opinion, the defenders have literally gone through one of the strangest curves in the game. They were the apex team for pretty much everything. And then they slowly started getting filtered out. Now, one thing about Marvel Strike Force is it's always the game of who's new. You know, we've literally just had Black Order drop. They are the new Apex. But there's always that team that will come out next that will just be a little bit better. The team that comes out next just a little bit better. It is always a team of playing catch-up. So when you started with someone as good as the defenders, and they were, make no bones about it, boys and girls, absolutely awesome. Unfortunately, we've now had so many teams that come out that just type of eclipse them. So as far as in Blitz go, they are actually one of my most dreaded Blitz teams to use. Even though they're 353k power, they're real solidly built up. They are very, very RNG dependent on who they take on. Obviously, you want to be taking on villains as much as possible to make use of that Punisher Daredevil combination, but they are still very, very, very RNG dependent. But also when you go to fight them. So sometimes you will go to fight them, and if Iron Fist is triggering that heal every time, they can prove a very difficult team to A, either go up against, or B, to use in Blitz and War. They catch a lot of people off guard. Now, predominantly in War, they used to be on defense. Now, I would say the camp is 50-50 on whether or not you use them on defense. The ideal counter for them are someone like the Sinister Six. But keep in mind, guys, due to their kit, they can also counter quite a lot of people. They can punch down across various teams. Now, predominantly, I would like to see them used mainly against AIM. They're very, very, very strong at countering AIM. They're also pretty good at fighting themselves. Kree is another good team, and if you're trying to use punch down against the Marauders, it is the team as well. Now, one team that you want to avoid at all costs, even though there are a ton of villains, is actually the Sinister Six, because the Sinister Six was built as a pure counter to the defenders. So you want to be swerving the Sinister Six, but other than that, you do want to be trying to take advantage of their kits that are going to work well against teams that predominantly rely on giving you negative effects, because Jessica Jones is going to be able to clear them. The damage from Punisher and Daredevil is going to be able to help that out massively. Now let's have a little look. So this is going to be probably the best team out of these ones that we can go against. We don't really want BKT. We could go against another defenders, or we were going to go against these villains. Now, what we're going to try and use is this kit. Go against the villains. We may win it. We may lose it. As I say, they are literally my most sporadic blitz wins. But yeah, as far as war goes, guys, whether or not you use them on offense and defense is entirely up to you. They're viable in either one. And to be honest, I still use mine in defense because they can catch a lot of people off guard with those buffs. They can still catch a lot of people off guard. So right, to start on this particular one, we know we've got a Deadpool against us. So we're actually going to start with the counter. Then we're going to focus out on Pyro. And basically the reason that we're starting on the counter straight away is so we can stop Deadpool in his tracks, and then we know that we're going to get the damage. Now, we've got the bleeds over there. We're going to clear them off, and we know that Punisher's going to finish him off. Now we're going to use the big AoE, predominantly knock Deadpool in a real bad way. We've got that beautiful counter. Then we're going to use defense up. That's actually going to trigger Punisher again. Then we're going to come in. We're going to finish off Deadpool. And this has actually worked out really well. We're going to get the heal. And then boom. That clear is absolutely huge. Get the taunt up. And you can still see they are a solid team. But let's make no bones about it, guys. They were the OGs. They were the first. And everyone that has come since has been built to just do a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And that's the way that we keep on buying packs, right? That's the way that we keep on spending money and keep it up with the Joneses, because we all want the next big team on the block. So, are the defenders still worth investing in? Yes, they are. They're a real big train of thought where some people go, just ignore them entirely. Other people go, no, they're still definitely the best team, the ones that you want to work on first. And I'm so torn between this. They are definitely a team that you want to work on. Personally, I would say that I've worked on mine too much, but I worked on mine in a time where they were the big thing. So if I was to do this game starting over right now, where would I be looking to take my defenders up to? And I would say a rule of thumb on this one would be level 60, gear tier 10. See where you get on red stars, see if you get lucky, see if they're worth investing in more after your red stars and everything like that have been applied. But gear tier 10, level 60 will leave you a very strong defenders team, a solid blitz thing, a solid counter for wars, and also a solid defense, depending on where you want to use them. I still love them. I still got a lot of time for them. But are they the beasts they once were? No, they are not. Guys, that is it for me today. I hope you enjoy this format. I hope you enjoy looking back at where they were, where they come from, where they are now. And let me know what team you would like to see next on this total breakdown with a little bit of gameplay, but more about where they were in the game, where they fit, and where you can use them now. So yeah, if you're trying to use them in war, make sure you're going up against teams with villains in them, and make sure you're going up against teams that predominantly rely on using their negative abilities and inflicting negative abilities on you. If you are trying to counter them, you've got to look towards Sinister Six. Sinister Six are really good. Also Ultron, things like that. Keep in mind, if you're using Ultron to counter them, that Punisher, Ultron will call in his minions before Punisher does his AoE. And if Punisher does his AoE, your minions are dead before they give you the speed boost. That's one thing to keep in mind as well, guys. But yeah, let me know what team you would like to see next in where they are now. Guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it. Thank you for watching. If you have, do me a massive favour. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. If you want to chat to me in person, you can do so in my Discord. The links are down below. Or find me over on my Twitch page. You got any questions Strike Force related, no matter what I'm playing, you're always free to hit me up over there. And that's www. There's a lot of bloody W's. www.twitch.tv/Shanksy. The link's down below as well. But guys, thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. Be smart, be strong, be safe. And until next time, I'll see you on the flip side. You take it easy.